the election day, there were serious challenges on the tabulation of the votes, including the widespread reports about agents being illegally recalled to polling stations and adjustment of V11s and V23s across the country, and the urban areas were not spared from this chicanery. The administration of these elections disenfranchised and range Zimbabweans across the country who deserve better and demand better. The biggest question is, what have we done as a movement to address this crisis? We have mounted extraordinary effort to restore legitimacy to the election results by doing what no opposition party should be doing, because that is the primary responsibility of the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, which has the honors to announce the results and to back up the results that they've provided to the Zimbabwean people. Thousands of our volunteers and supporters have risked violence and gone extraordinary strength and personal expense to collect and return original copies of the V11s across the country, each of them willing to pay the price for the safety of making sure that we have our own parallel voter tabulation, which reflects the will of the people. We know that hundreds and thousands could not make it because of these barriers that we've articulated. What do we do to resolve this crisis? That is the biggest question, fellow Zimbabweans. It is clear, it is non-negotiable, that we cannot settle for any leader in Zimbabwe who lacks the true democratic will of the Zimbabwean people. A leader must be born out of a legitimate electoral process, because that is what democracy and election is all about. This election as it stands was an election without democracy, dominated by men of manipulation that I've just articulated. A true democratic mandate can only be derived from freely expressing Zimbabweans through the power of the ballot. And therefore, any president that must be inaugurated must be born out of a free, fair, and credible election. Therefore, the only resolution and way forward articulated by CCC for avoidance of doubt and confusion is that Zimbabwe needs a fresh and broad and proper election to exit the current crisis. A flawed electoral process has fully obscured the will of the Zimbabwean people, and there is no alternative outside a new, clean, fresh, and a proper election. Only that can give Zimbabwe an exit out of the vicious cycles of disputed election that have been dominating our body politic since 1980. Fellow Zimbabweans, every Zimbabwean, no matter whom they support, has an absolute and sacred and sovereign right to know that the government which taxes them, the government which polices them, which commands their military and manages the affairs of their state, is chosen freely, equally by all Zimbabwean people. In the current political crisis, the only way this sacred right can be fulfilled, the only way we can resolve the current predicament that we're facing as a people, the Citizens Coalition for Change, as led by Advocate Nelson Chamisa, has assessed the situation and has made this following clear and emphatic demand: that to exit and restore democracy and legitimacy in our country, we are going to settle for less, none other than a free, fair, credible, and a proper election in our country. Now, the biggest question that faces Zimbabwean society right now is, how do we achieve this desired end? How do we, to put it differently, restore legitimacy in our country? Our answer to all Zimbabweans and Africans at large, the solution lies in calling upon our African brothers and those in the region, particularly SADC, the African Union, to help us to facilitate, to mediate, to scaffold, and more importantly, to guarantee a process that will lead our return to legitimacy in the shortest period of time. Fellow Zimbabweans, this is our position as the Citizens Coalition for Change. And if there are any few questions, I'll take a few questions before we proceed. Thank you.
I just want to understand, your solution is just to call for Africa and South